have enough of its own people?
Look around, sir. Things are heating up in the city. Soup to know one spark's all it takes for Japantown to go up in flames.
Riots are always best put down by folks not sporting your brand name.
Ah, you are here.
Why? What are we doing here?
You shall learn soon. I acquired some information of my own. Do you know who most wish to honor Arasaka-sama with the parade?
Yeah, Leonard, of course you like Takamura. He's so deadpan, has no emotion. He just talks a lot of lore and explains things that happen.
He's a murderer. The irony makes me sick.
Still don't see how this gets us anywhere.
I have had a look to the sky. The dash floats will pass precisely this way. If I could just get onto Hanako-sama's float, I could speak with her in private.
Get there how?
Why jump? Of course.
Expectations way too high, Goro. Couldn't pull that off even if you had your fancy implants.
I have thought of a solution.
I know.
While you are occupied with your shady dealings, I learned more about the floats. They are all kept in one place, Arasaka
Got an
Industrial
attitude now.
Park.
I learned
It is
about the
there
floats.
that they prepare them. We need only to break into the compound, find the right float and inject a virus into its system. You will then be able to disable any security before I sneak inside.
Gotta be honest, net running's not my forte.
It is even less mine. I have an infected shard. It was not cheap, but the man who sold it to me guaranteed it will work.
Guaranteed. Might as well put more stuff in my head.
Let us move on.
It's like walking with a dog. Oh,
To take
right ahead.
control of the float
Come
is one thing, but not all. The security concerns me, the snipers especially. I will be an easy target.
Guy's a real alpha, he has to be.
But I may have an answer. Okada-san mentioned the city cameras. If we gain access to them, we will see exactly where the snipers are. You can deal with them as I advance.
Sounds like a plan.
You agree?
Yeah, well,
And now, the camera... You must get inside and infect the network. That is all.
uh-huh. And in the meantime, you'll do what? Crack open a can of suds?
I will not touch alcohol. At work, I will watch your back. Now, get to it.
Fucking worked.
That's what they did in Mankind Divided. I saw some people talking about it on Reddit, and there were because it takes place in Prague. And there are some Czech people who said half the people are speaking perfect Czech, and the other half are doing a Russian accent. They're just obviously like probably North American voice actors. I am from Czech, right? This is a Czech accent, no? So similar. You are filthy og, and I hate you because of racism. Can you please have me voice multiple characters? Additional voices. That's the worst thing you can see on the voice acting list. Additional voices. So all the NPCs are gonna sound like this. so they sound crazy and different.
And
Done.
the shared work. To break into Arasaka Industrial Park will not be such a bed of roses. But before we discuss that,
Maybe it's like when they hire a black person for something and they're like, can you sound more urban?
I have not eaten since yesterday.
I mean, they hire
Give me the best
Indian and
on the
Asian
menu.
people all the time and make them do a crazy
I
accent.
highly recommend the yakitori today.
I love yakitori. Anything that isn't local, please.
It's a nice thing to say in a restaurant. Anything not local? Is there anything that's not from around here that wouldn't be made by people like you?
Can't believe I'm saying this, but this Sokka scum might actually prove useful. He's a well-trained dog. Needs orders, that's all. And when he outlives his purpose, we'll flatline him.
He's not on his A game, sure. But even without implants, he could decommission us easily.
Where's that come from? Ever seen him in action?
Nah, just know. And the way he walks, the look in his eye.
We'll come back to this later.
The way he eats his sushi. What a badass.
What is this?
Hey, yakitori.
Okay, I have laid the plan. 1. We break into Arasaka Industrial Park. 1.5. We have Hanako-sama's float. 2. During the parade, with my help, you eliminate any snipers. 3. I get onto the float. 4. I convince Hanako-sama of the truth.
It's Keanu Reeves doing the voice.
Well, none dumber yet.
Nah, we got...
Yeah, got enough on my plate as it.
So...
Cook! Louder! Louder!
I have decided
You
to
already
double
know
the
that.
amount of
In the
our
flesh.
active Night City security forces. President Myers
He eliminated the last obstacle between himself and complete power.
At the
Nice.
NUSA
Surrendered
and
it to him.
Tell me then, what do we call the murder of my father? Was that not a provocation? Was that not
Arasaka, an empire built to last. Before Yorinobu set fire to it from the inside, all of this began with him. The factions, power struggles, all of this. Kusa!
Sounds really emotional.
Why'd Saburo tolerate it all? Can't get my head around it. Could have kept his son on a short leash.
Arasaka-sama was a strong and disciplined man. The strongest man I have ever known. And yet, at a critical moment, he showed a weakness
For Yorinobu.
for his daughter.
The thing with dialogue is that in a movie, dialogue is shown with different camera angles, with the pauses. You're supposed to be working towards something. The toughest dialogue to make interesting is exposition. The problem with video games is that it's almost always exposition. So it's constantly one character talking to you, which can become very monotonous. This guy's voice is quite monotonous. The main character's voice is kind of monotonous. Keanu Reeves is pretty monotonous. In a movie, there's generally more characters that to talk to, and there could be a group of 4 or 5 people, or the main character deals with a lot of different people. But in a game, it ends up so. I get the gist of it. If I don't feel like they're using the dialogue to convey anything other than just a bit more information and lore, then I can just read it and skip through it. And when it gets to a point where you're seeing some emotion or personality or something, he's fine, but I get what he's saying. I've got it. I got the gist of it. He is worried about this. It is a plan we must do. I will find information for the plan. We will go do the thing. Like, nothing is changing from what he's saying. Does it need to be, though? Does what need to be? Always exposition? No, I think that if they want to be movies so bad, they really need to take some tips from like good scripts, you know, or like good books and what makes great dialogue. Novels are like that, actually. There's a lot more dialogue because you have to explain everything constantly, right?
When Yorinobu formed his band of hounds, declared war on his own family, Arasaka-sama could have crushed him with one word. Yet he did not, for he did not wish his daughter to suffer. When Yorinobu returned, his tail between his legs, she persuaded her father to give him a second chance. Do you understand? Hanako-sama saved Yorinobu from the consequences of his deeds.
That is some heavy information. Oh, I think he's talking to Homer Simpson. You gonna eat yours?
Feels like that's about to change. As long as we get Hanako to believe our version of events. Conscience could also come into play. Assuming she's got one.
We must reach her first. Time for some reconnaissance. Wait for my call.
Yeah, I'm happy to listen to the really interesting stuff. And you can tell. As you're reading it, you can tell which part's going to be more like sort of character building or lore building in a more interesting way. But there's always like, there's something interesting and then it's kind of sandwiched with, here's a few kind of filler lines. Your character has to say something. Yeah, I think we will do that. Okay, let's do it. Yeah. I guess we'll do it. Man, look at all this shit. Sweet booty. She's laughing. Oh, cool. I love the necklace. Our novel shines by focusing the reader on specific details. Oh yeah, and like the words they choose are so important. When I was reading Neuromancer, it was a lot of stuff like sitting on the cold neurosteel or the molded plastic, the synthetic canvas bags. Everything evoked a like shitty, fake, disgusting world. Oh, look at that bloody neon and smoke and fog and it looks really believable. It looks like people would... Like, they're good at setting up stuff in a way that feels practical. Like, okay, we'll have a bunch of power lines because there is power here, and then they're going to hang stuff from them. Of course they would do that. You know? Their level design is pretty genius. Or what would you call it? Like, environment design? Call Mr. Hanze.
What's shaking?
Need to make contact with the Voodoo Boys chief if you can swing it.
All right. Straight to heavy business. Now, that'd be Maman Brigitte. Be tough getting a word into her.
Really don't do any biz with them?
Not with the chefs, chefins, priests, and whatnot. All got dirigible-sized egos. Won't talk to lowly me. But if you insist, I can ask around, try to set something up. I'll just need some details first.
Sorry, it's personal.
Well, that's fucking helpful.
Got something they want.
Truly? Want to sell something to the VDBs? Trust me, they don't want it, they don't need it. They're isolated, insulated, they got their own contracts, tech, networks. But, have it your way. Okay, I'll see what I can do and get back to you.
I got the last burrito. Yeah, when I said level design, it made me think of Dark Souls and actually things pathing together and how you would approach a level. This is more like an environment that looks beautiful and functional and authentic and logical. They're so good at that. It's really incredibly impressive. Pursue other reads. He sounds like Splinter from the first Ninja Turtles movie. Shredder was my master's enemy.
That's just...
Do you know how to eat a hamburger? How's it go? It's the new Crisis for PCs. So, yeah, I guess the environments look pretty high res, pretty smooth. I mean, there's some stuff that's not great. The character models are actually like who's I looking at? They look really good. Really surprised me.
Watch yourself, kid.
Wow, she's talking to me in my mind. She looked okay. That black guy that was standing up there. Whoa, I'm in line, buddy. I would like to buy a wrench. And a guitar.
Forward march.
Yeah, I like the blotches on her skin and the way her titties look. Oh, it looks better because it's got like ray tracing, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Other than it crashing, it runs pretty well. I don't have any frame rate dips or anything. The Voodoo Boys. Give me danger. Takamura's got to do this thing. All right. Cinnamon. Sit and wait. Great. I fought the law. Meet with Elizabeth Paralas. A femme fatale calls you up, refuses to give the deets, and calls a meet. Trying to remember which ones Leonard said were good. The Beast? Visit Claire. No, I don't want to do that. Heroes, you said. You said this one feels like... Oh. This is going to be a lot of watching people be... This feels like a very passive mission. I'm going to go there and watch a funeral and they're going to talk about Jackie. Did you actually do anything in it? Go to the fight in the Glen. You fought the law as a mission you remembered. I fought the law. I fought the law. Femme fatale. Okay, yeah, that'd be nice. Sure. Elizabeth. Brain dance.
Got here.
Question is, what are you doing here?
My brain too, isn't it?
And this time, don't go scrolling every ass you see. Eyes on the mayor. Stuff belongs to City Hall. Let's make it PG.
$20 guns and a little visor, yeah. You can... Yeah, it's really amazing. It's almost like she has a magic sack she can put it into.
Hold it! Stop right there! Slow your roll!
River Ward, NCPD. Police. Let him in?
Let him wait. It's important. Gotta speak to the mayor's chief of security.
Preem, do it after the conference.
Whoa! For inventory? I think like a magic inventory is fine for me. Unless it's a part of the system. Like Death Stranding was a game about inventory, so that was fine. I don't really like having to not take all your fun stuff, you know. But then if it gets to the point where like you can carry so much stuff and that's the only way you make money, like Skyrim, that can get kind of tedious, because then you feel like all you do is look at how much do things weigh and how much are they worth. Whereas if you could just take anything, you wouldn't even have to think about that. And then just remove... See, this one I think does it right. It lets you have a lot of stuff. There still is some limit to it for some reason. But the resale value is terrible for all the guns. Because the guns are like literally a dime a dozen. They're everywhere. I think it's way better looking than Vin Diesel. A little prettier than Vin Diesel. I like how Vin Diesel apparently has... He's got like a real ego problem. And then when The Rock is now in the... Because that used to be his series, right? He was the main guy, and The Rock came in. The Rock's like one of the most popular actors in the world. This used to be such a cool idea when I had to think myself. Now I just go to the part it wants me to see. Deputy Mayor. Okay.
Second conference in 3 days. No idea what this blitz is for.
That's why I'm mayor and you're not. Now's when we need the visibility.
You're spreading yourself too thin.
I'll rest tonight. My room at the Red Queen's race is ready.
Yes, of course.
Good. Now go. Gotta practice.
Yeah, like the grid system in RPGs works pretty well, because then some bigger things can fit in there. Some small, you can have more smaller items.
You know, you're allowed to say you don't have a clue.
Like in Deus Ex Invisible War, they made everything have the same amount of space. So like a rocket launcher and a beer take up the same room. I haven't played Stalker. It looks, well, sounds pretty good. Always heard a lot of great things about it. Like it's sort of in that Half-Life realm, maybe? Look where it tells you to look.
They left literally seconds before the attack.
They must have known.
Like it was done on purpose.
That or the Psycho saw his chance and took it. Don't get paranoid on me.
Yeah, a faster fast forward would be nice.
The cop wanted to tell security something.
Probably that he was standing by to lick Ryan's butthole.
Could have chromed half the city.
This is a Hungarian guy. Peter Horvath.
Body disappeared from the morgue, sight unseen. And then some pig got himself a new set of wheels and an ugly-ass suit.
Know that? Or just talking out your ass again?
Once you've seen all I've seen, don't need to know things to know them. People are the same everywhere.
Okay, it's coming out your ass.
I was listening to a review of Kingdom Come Deliverance from a guy named Never Knows Best. He's great for RPGs. And he was talking about one mission where you have to infiltrate a bunch of monks, and you have to secretly find out what's going on while doing all your monk tasks. And he compared the game to Shenmue, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Terminal crashed right as he went through the gate. Glitch was no accident.
Nah, seen stranger coincidences.
Like?
Like when you bang some chick and then her sister later, same night. And it turns out they're both sisters of God.
That really happened to you?
Nah, but it could have.
Oh, well.
Peter.
Preem, do it after the conference.
The tune. Don't recognize it.
tune.
What he's humming.
Wouldn't call that a tune.
He's really into it.
The conference.
From what I played at Kingdom Come Deliverance, the writing, I was actually surprised. The writing felt pretty strong. Felt like it was quite a believable world and believable actions going on. And there's a lot of systems to play around with. I just didn't want to stream it. But if I wasn't streaming, I totally would have played it. I would have played the hell out of it. The only problem is that Leonard really likes it. So you know that there has to be something really wrong with it deep down somewhere. Yeah, it's real history and all that, but it felt like they got the point across of like your role in the land, and the same way that Witcher was good at writing that stuff. The tension was there.
You're here. Fantastic.
Oh, that's cool. We haven't been in these flying cars yet.
So, any thoughts?
Whole thing stinks worse than Coronado Bay in July.
Huh. So suspicions confirmed. Any questions at this point?
Red Queen's race. What is it?
Got me. Never heard of it. Sorry.
Cop who saved
Detective River Ward. Good guy. We worked a few cases together. You want to talk to him? I'll put you in touch.
Mayor's hustle. Bay and CPD.
No. All handpicked by Holt. And on a corpse payroll. But there are ex-cops among them.
There's Marcus.
Anyone else besides Sheesh. Either has crazy good luck or had... Well said.
Sending you his deeds. If you need anything else, let us know. We'll help.
Alright, let's go. Is this thing gonna fly away?
V, my reconnaissance is complete.
Lily Millie.
It worked? Can hear it in your voice.
Everything is ready. I am sending you coordinates. Join me as quickly as you can.
You think this thing will fly off? They don't fly while you're on them? Oh, you tried. Yes. Here we go. All right. Uh-oh. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Ah! And we're dead. Lily, Millie, Lily, Millie. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. You know, I totally forgot I had set up. Lily Millie flying on a plane, 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 Lily Millie. It would have been cooler if I just fell off because, well, because it was too fast. Not that it just disappeared.
Whole thing stinks worse than Coronado Bay in
warped
July.
away, you know? Whole thing stinky.
So suspicions confirmed.
I am flying
Any questions
on a
at this
plane. Yeah, the looper. Because I changed up my music stream and ended up... what's going on?
has crazy good luck or had a source. Excuse me, just a sec.
Alright. Everything okay over here? Sorry, first time parking. Woo.
Okay, I'm back. Talk. Sheesh. Ward had great timing. Either has crazy good luck or had a source. Got good info. I'm gonna need some of each. Well said.
Sending you his deeds. If you need anything else, let us know. We'll help.
Deeds. Me the deeds. Give me the deeds.
Takamura, my reconnaissance is complete.
It worked?
Takamura, everything is ready. I am sending you coordinates. Join me as quickly as you can.
Alright. Nido Takamura. He's so far away. Big dumpster. Yeah, good old dumpster fire, Jace. Come on.
Where there's smoke, there's bubbles.
You are hot.
My life's only just begun. I have money.
Oh, this music's so good. Why can't I see anything? What the hell is going on? Is this like fog of war? You can't render this stuff, or is it the headlights or something?
It's a good thing you answered. I could probably use your help.
Probably.
Fine. I could really use your help. Can we meet?
Got a Delta. Later.
Yeah, let's go meet with her. I think when you're flying around different parts of the city really fast, it starts really struggling. Meet with Takamura. Go to the chapel. What about Jablonski, Detective Ward? When am I meeting her? Panem. Where'd she go? The car wants that guy to run over so bad to learn how to fly just to run him over. I know. I felt like I was like stuck to him or something. It was like the car and that guy are soulmates. Meet with Takamura. I don't want to do that. I want to go meet with... I want to go meet Panam. The car suplex? Yeah, I saw that where like scoops him up by the leg. That looks awesome. Okay. answer. I'm pressing down.
We were talking about...
Oh, I
Just
see.
tell me when and where.
You don't know how good it is to hear that. Swing by the Aldecaldo's camp. I'll explain it all.
The Aldecaldo? Thought you parted ways.
Look, it's a long story. Just hurry over. I'm here.
How far is that going to be? Pretty fucking far. Can you just fast travel there? Can you take like a... Can you hop into a taxi and just... Can you like hop into a taxi and just have a fast travel? Like skip the journey? Jesus. Yeah, the buttons are crazy with, yeah, trying to access that stuff. I think what happened was I was maybe... The game thought we were doing something else, so it, I guess, just interrupted our conversation or something. I think, and she did say something like, oh, I gotta hang up, and then said, okay, now I'm free, or whatever. White City. At night it seems to load in a lot better. Probably too much to show with all the daylight. Man, one time I was driving back from Montreal with Stella, and it was a crazy snowstorm where you couldn't see anything, and I was looking at my GPS like this. I couldn't see anything in front of me. And I was telling her, I said, I feel like I'm flying a plane right now, and I'm looking at the radar. Which is scary when there's other cars on the road, and nobody knows where the lanes are. Lily, 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 Lily. Huh? No. Yes. Woo! Look at this thing. I like the sound of that engine. It's a nice low rumble. Da-do-do, da-do-do-do-do. They do tend to cheat and have your car stay driving forward, which is nice. Unless you hit something. But you know, they don't do the thing where, like, oh, if you put the car kind of off the tracks, it doesn't screw you around. Yeah, 2077, still on gas. They make the exact same sounds as any engine. Panam, I'm here. With a flaming car.
V, it's good you're here.
Look at that top lip.